Boys and girls, we got day 3 of free agency. Jets are making a few moves. Few things that definitely surprised me. I had us cutting Blake Cashman. The fact that we got a 6th round pick after taking him in the 5th round just 3 years ago, and the dude hasn't played at all is absolute Looney Tunes. I cannot believe it. Absolutely amazing. Joe Douglas is a wizard with draft picks and trades. I don't care what it is. Doesn't matter. This guy could trade a woman in white gloves a ketchup popsicle. He could sell snow in the winter. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So that trade blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. Fantastic. Jets now have an extra 6th round pick in 2023. So adding to the war chest, right, boys? I like it. Then Joe Flacco winds up returning on a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. I like this. This is kind of what you heard from Robert Saleh at the end of the season, the season-ending press conference. That's something they wanted to keep in mind, the veteran leadership from Flacco. And I thought that might mean the end for Mike White. And I don't necessarily think it doesn't, but I think they wanted to lock in Flacco. And now they sign or tender Mike White with the original round tender, which is a 5th round option. So in the event someone decides to roll the dice on Mike White, we have determined that getting a 5th round pick for White is worth him potentially walking. Or we get the right of first refusal. So someone can offer him a contract. We can decide whether we want to sign him to the same contract, or we can wind up moving on from him and take their 5th round pick. So not a bad move. I think it's a good move for both Flacco and White. And then we bring in Tyler Conklin. New signing. 3 years, $21 million. He's going to play the Kyle Juszczyk role. Or at least that's what it seems like. That is going to be exciting. This is something the Jets have been kind of looking for a while. You saw them try to target one in free agency last year as well as the draft. So I think the Jets are definitely going to use him in that tight end, fullback, halfback kind of role. The guy's insanely athletic. His burst in I think it was the shuttle, as well as his vertical, is just insanely impressive for a tight end. So I like this. I think this is a good move. You bring in 2 tight ends that can really help your offense. I think it brings a lot of depth. I think it brings into question what the Jets decide to do in the draft. I think they understand that there's a lot of talented tight ends in this draft, and I don't know if you necessarily have to take one in the 2nd round. I know as much as Jet fans want to say Trey McBride, I think a lot of us would go with Jeremy Ruckert. I think there's a few other guys, Jake Ferguson, Charlie Kolar, Jelani Woods. There's a lot of options at tight end. And using a 2nd round pick on one when a lot of the really good ones in the league were taken 3rd or later, resource allocation wise, it might be wiser to wait a little bit on the tight end situation. It's interesting. This could be why we're not targeting receiver quite so heavily. Now, we were involved with a few names for sure, but we're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. And if you have Corey Davis and you have Elijah Moore and you have Braxton Berrios, are you really going to bring in a high-priced free agent wide receiver? I don't know. Now I'm not so sure. I still think you got to trade, or still think you got to sign one. I still think it's definitely a need. Corey Davis is not a lock to be on this team beyond next year, and Berrios has just a 2-year contract. So you obviously want to get some more pieces here. But it turns our attention towards the draft a little bit. Still a little bit more time. I still want to go after Arden Key. I think he's still available, if I'm not mistaken, the edge rusher from the 49ers. But how do the Jets attack the draft? It feels like they're setting themselves up for edge at number 4. They were in on Zadarius Smith, but Smith wound up going to the Ravens for, I think it was $8.5 million a year. That's pretty upsetting. I don't know what he would have gone to the Jets for, but I would have preferred to try and get him. But maybe the back injury is a little bit more concerning, and that's why he didn't get quite as much. But you got to think they're setting themselves up for edge at number 4. Whoever that is. There's a lot of really good edge rushers. At number 10, I still think it feels... Maybe it's a trade down spot. I don't think it's as desirable of a trade down spot as it was just a month ago before the Commanders got Wentz. So, do the Jets take receiver at 10? Garrett Wilson's going to be a popular name. I brought up Drake London yesterday during our Talking Jets panel. He is 6'5", 215 pounds. That is the same size as Mike Williams, the receiver out in LA for the Chargers. We were apparently heavily interested in him. So my thought process is we're looking for someone 6'5", 215 pounds. And if Drake London runs a 4.55 or below at his pro day, whoo-wee, it's going to be hard not to take him at number 10. Realistically, if the Jets want to go receiver at 10, you're probably picking the second best receiver in the draft. Because I find it hard to believe the Falcons, after losing Ridley and Gage and Patterson, I would be surprised to see them not go receiver at 8. Would be interesting. Then you go to 35. So if you go edge, then wide receiver. Now what happens in the second round? Are you still thinking cornerback? Or has Reed kind of satisfied our palate? Are you thinking safety? Whitehead's only on a 2-year contract, so clearly that's still a need. There's going to be a lot of really good safeties that are going to fall to that 35 pick. A lot of really good ones. Then, at 38, it opens the door. I do think defensive tackle is squarely in play. I think linebacker is squarely in play. Maybe you make some kind of move with some of your picks. Maybe someone's falling to Kobe Dean, falling in the first round. Who knows? There's a lot of really good linebackers. Chad Muma is one we had at the Senior Bowl that I think a lot of people are kind of mocking to us a little bit. If you get him in the third round, would be pretty good. Then maybe you get your Ruckert in the third or fourth, somewhere in that realm. I don't know where Ruckert really stands right now. Like, it's weird. He didn't participate in the game part of the Senior Bowl because his grandfather passed away, and then he didn't run his 40 at the Combine. So it's like he's not necessarily helping his stock, but I think he's helping him wind up on the Jets, which is cool. I'm all about that. It's going to be interesting. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to put a poll in the comment section. I'm curious what you guys are thinking here. Let's see. What was your favorite part of today? Bam. We'll say, was it the Cashman trade? And then we'll say signing Tyler Conklin. Bam. The fact that Joe Douglas is able to work these trades the way he has is absolutely bonkers for me. It blows my mind. He got a 4th-round pick for Herndon. He got 2 firsts and a 3rd for Jamal. And now he gets a 6th for Blake Cashman. He got a 2nd for Sam. He's just stealing kids' lunch money. Joe Douglas is out on the NFL playground, and he's just beating up kids. Ain't nobody gonna have lunch by the time Joe Douglas comes around. This man's gonna feast on your feelings. Gonna drink your tears. Corky asks, how about Julio Jones? I don't want Julio Jones. I don't think he's healthy enough, and I don't think he's good enough at this point in his... I shouldn't say at this point in his career, but I don't think he's healthy enough for us to justify bringing him in. Maybe there's some sort of connection to Ulbrich, but I wouldn't go that route. I'd look towards the draft at this point. We shall see. Edward Ziff, thank you for the super chat, says, in a pass-happy league, we need cornerbacks. Sauce at 4. Look, I'm not going to lie. I would still take Sauce at 4. I really like Sauce Gardner a lot. But I think edge is more important. This is what I said 2 years ago when we were drafting Mekhi Becton. I really like CeeDee Lamb, but it makes more sense to take the tackle. This year, I love me some Sauce Gardner, and we might be able to get him at 10. But we should take the edge rusher. We haven't gotten an edge yet. Edge is so important in this defensive scheme. Unless they really love a lot of edge rushers and not a lot of corners, I don't know if they'll pull the trigger on Sauce at 4. Now, I did hear Sauce at 2 to Detroit is a realistic possibility. He is from Detroit, and you got to think Aaron Glenn wants to emulate the defense that he had in New Orleans with Marcus Williams and Marshawn Lattimore. Now, they do have Okudah, who they drafted in the top 3. Is that right? Definitely top 10. I don't remember what pick he was. But I have heard from people that corner is actually on the table, shockingly. I would think Hamilton would be more on the table for them with the whole, Marcus Williams kind of thing. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting nonetheless. I like Sauce. There's no upsetting me with Sauce. Mark Riss says Miles Jack next. Unfortunately, Miles Jack signed 2 years, 16 million? 2 years, 16 million with the Steelers. So he is no longer an option for us, unfortunately. NY Sports MC. What's up, brother? Haven't talked to you in a while. He says, Ryan's thoughts on Tomlinson over Daniels. I know Tomlinson has experience in the system. Daniels got less and is younger. I like Tomlinson more, personally. And it's not that I don't like Daniels, but I like that Tomlinson knows this coaching staff, knows this specific scheme. Like, they are running San Francisco's offense. There is no learning curve. Where Daniels, while he's good in the zone blocking scheme, there will be some sort of learning curve. I don't know did Daniels get signed? And I don't know how much he signed for versus what Tomlinson got. So if you guys know that, let me know. But Daniels has a ton of penalties. So Connor Williams, the guard from the Cowboys, had the most penalties this year with 14. He wound up getting signed by the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken. Daniels was second with 13. So something to keep an eye on for sure. Let's see. Hunter, why do we need linebacker when Quincy balling out for cheap? You still need linebacker because it's not a guarantee that C.J. Mosley's going to be here next year. I do think, like in 2023, he'll be here for this season, but I don't know if he'll be here beyond that. He's going to have to probably restructure after this year if he wants to stay on the team. I kind of hope he does. He's a good leader, and I don't know. He's getting up there in age, but I don't want to pay him $17 million. That's just a lot for a linebacker at this point. Jared jumps in with a super chat. He says, Hamilton or Sauce at 4 or 10 is very real. Why is Michael Carter tweeting and asking if people would be mad if he changes his number? I don't know. I mean, I think maybe Michael Carter's talking about, like, people who bought his jersey. Would they be upset if he switched from 32 to another number? Now, I don't know what number he would pick. Is there a number he had in mind? I don't know what he wore in college. That's probably where he's going with that. Hamilton or Sauce. I mean, if you got Hamilton at 4 and Sauce at 10, that would be crazy. But I'd be pretty upset that we didn't get an edge rusher. I really, really want an edge rusher. Like, there's no... If you don't get the edge rusher, I feel like this draft... I don't want to say it's not going to be a bust. But if you don't get an edge rusher, it's a very serious letdown for me. That's a position I've been targeting definitely since we ended last year's draft. I've been saying corner and edge rusher basically since last year's draft ended. And I've kind of flip-flopped on corner going high versus like the second round. But I've fallen in love with some Sauce. Let's see. GVH says, agree about Sauce in today's NFL and agree with a stud edge in this system. We run, you can still impact the game. Elam, if he makes it to the second round, maybe he does. I'm not exactly sure what you're saying. You agree that Sauce, are you saying like he's more of a zone corner and you don't necessarily need a zone corner as much in the NFL? Maybe that's where you're going with that. We play a lot of man, too. I think we played 65% zone and then 35% man, but most of the man was on third down, and we gave up a lot of third downs. Not great. We'll see. NY Sports MC says, Daniels was 3 years, $60 million, whereas Tomlinson was 3 years, $40 million. So, I mean, 3 years, $26 million, that's probably... I mean, you could sign other guys. I don't know. It's weird, right? Like, I kind of value the step-in replacement at right guard and, like, solidifying your line without any questions. Like, Daniels, I would probably still have some type of question for sure. But this is definitely a better deal. They got him for what? That's $8 million, a little over $8 million, 8.5, something along those lines. Gonna be interesting. Jerome Strax says, darn, the Texans gave us a 6th-round pick for Cashman. Joe Douglas should see what they'll give us for Mims. I can't wait to see what happens with Mims. Like, is he going to get traded? There's part of me that would love to trade a 2nd-round pick and Mims to Carolina so Carolina can facilitate a Deshaun Watson trade because we obviously have their 2nd-round pick. Now, I guess that depends if the Texans prefer DJ Moore over the second round pick, then that wouldn't work. But if they value the pick, who knows? That would be something interesting. But I would send Mims to the Panthers, especially if they were to get Watson, because they're going to be trading so much away. Maybe you can get something else from him. Let's see. Sean24 says, I heard Vikings are taking offers on Danielle Hunter. Would you trade a second and a fourth for him to be able to take Sauce at 4? Oh, man, that would be cool. I would definitely trade for Danielle Hunter. I don't know what it would cost. If it's a second and a fourth, I'd seriously think about it, because you're getting a really good edge rusher, like the fastest edge rusher to 50 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. But he does have a little bit of injuries. Maybe you consider Sauce at 4 and you take edge at 10 if you trade for Danielle Hunter, but now you have Danielle Hunter and Lawson. Does that get too crowded? Or do you just kind of stuff your line with edge rushers and rotate them and always have guys fresh? I don't know. I'm not sure. That's a little tougher. I do have a hard time pulling the trigger on Hunter when we have the pick of the litter for like most of the edge rushers. I would say I don't know. I'm not sure how I would do that. Russia sent a super chat for $2. Hey, Russia. Bye, Russia. Let's see. What else we got? IRL says, JD flipped Hearn into the Vikings for a fourth and now signs away their starting tight end. The man's straight gangsta. He's Suge Knight of NFL GMs. It's one way to look at it. Signing the talent away. I like it. Let's see. What else are you guys talking about in here? Ooh. CD Lamb is in the chat. He says, Kayvon smells like a bust from a mile away. I don't think Kayvon is a bust. The thing that scares me about Kayvon is definitely the there's a little bit of his personality that feels very me. Like I'm 100% behind these players having a ton of confidence in themselves. But like it feels like he's feeling himself a lot. And because of the talent that's in this draft class with edge rusher, like I'm not as upset with going edge at 10 or a different direction other than Kayvon. So I think that's where I'm at. Russia says, JD arrested for theft. LOL. To the moon. I like it. Jake Ruiz says, with Tyler Conklin signing, we should expect the Ryan Griffin release anytime now, right? Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably gone. You bring in Conklin. You bring in Uzma. You have Wesco. Is it Bolden is our fullback right now? So you got a few options. I think we're still going to draft a tight end at some point, and I do think there's going to be a very fierce competition for that tight end position. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. This is everything that we want. I shouldn't say everything, but this is a lot of what we wanted to see. Like we saw a lot more 3 and 4 wide receiver sets this past year because we just had no one at tight end. So you bring in 2 at the very least, plus you're going to wind up bringing in another one in the draft. I think it's a great move. Smart move. Let's see. Zachary Berner says, I bet Ryan is not paying attention to the Watson situation. No, I am. I'm paying attention. Look, I like the whole NFL, and I think Watson is incredibly talented. I'm glad the Jets are not in on it. That's really where I'm at. I heard he might go to Atlanta. That was the last thing I heard. If it were me, I know Atlanta's his hometown. He was the ball boy for Atlanta for a bit. I would think he has his heart set maybe there if he's really considering them. But they don't have any talent. And if they're trading away a ton of picks, it makes no sense to me. Like for me, I think the Saints make the most sense because they are loaded with players. And if they give up a bunch of draft picks, who cares? you got the quarterback. You got, you can't trade. Well, I guess you could, but you're going to hurt your cap. You have Lattimore. You have Michael Thomas. You have DeMario Davis. You have Kamara. Like that team is loaded, absolutely loaded. And really, Brady's only there for a year. So if you're Watson, I think the NFC South is the most attractive. Like you definitely want to go to the NFC because of the whole AFC getting loaded right now. Says, does JD have every other GM's nudes? He was part of the fappening. He hacked all those webcams. That's what wound up happening. Joe Douglas getting everyone embarrassed. Tyree Wilson, thank you for the super chat, brother. I'm going to scroll down and see if I could find a comment. I don't see a comment attached to it. But thank you for the super chat all the same. Excited. 1189 Paris, thank you for the super chat. Says, can you please discuss who the Jaguars, Lions, Texans, and Giants are going to draft? These 4 teams some way will dictate who the Jets will draft. Yes, 100%. Not even just those 4. Well, I guess it's those 4, but especially when Watson winds up getting traded, there's a real shot the Texans have pick 3 and pick 6, and that's going to impact how they react to pick 3. Like, if they have a player at 3 that they really like, that they think the Jets and the Giants are not going to take, they'll take him at 6. And they're going to take someone that the Jets and Giants might take at 3. This is how this whole board flips, because the Jets are playing this game with the Giants and every team in front of us. The Giants are playing that game with the Panthers right now. Who would they take at 6? That's why you're seeing offensive linemen at number 5 a lot, because the Panthers, if they don't get Watson, are going to be talking heavily offensive line. So the way I'm looking at it right now, the top of this draft, I'm thinking the Jaguars definitely go Aiden Hutchinson. I think that's almost as close to a lock as you could possibly have. The Lions, that's where things start to get interesting, because I really think that Malik Willis is in play for them. I think what Greenbean was saying last night, he was talking about how they only played Willis for a little bit in the Senior Bowl, and then they sat him on the bench. They protected him with all the offensive linemen. Like, it would not shock me if they were trying to save him for number 2, because you're not getting him at pick 31. Now, that would be way higher than I thought, but it would be really cool. So let's say, it's either Malik Willis or a defensive player for the Lions, because I do think they're going defense if it's not Willis. I think it's going to be Hamilton, it's going to be Sauce, or it's going to be Kayvon. So, I don't know what direction they go. It's really interesting. When you talk about the Texans, what happens when they trade Watson? Who do they get? What do they wind up? Where's their other picks in the draft? Like, are they somehow going to wind up with 6? Are they going to wind up with 18? Are they going to wind up with 8? Like, there's a lot of different options that they could kind of wind up with, and it's going to dictate it. You don't know what's going to happen in the draft until Watson is traded. That's when things will start to seem a little clearer, especially once guys start going elsewhere. Like, he may go to the Falcons, and then maybe, who knows, maybe Allen Robinson wants to follow him. Like, that could be why there's a little bit of a hang-up in terms of the free agent wide receiver market. Now, there's also rumors of Robinson going to the Packers. If Devontae Adams winds up not playing there, he says he's not playing on the franchise tag, which means he could get traded. Now, the Raiders are clearing a ton of cap, and he's very close with Derek Carr. So I see Devontae Adams going to Vegas personally, and I think we're going to wind up, not we're going to wind up losing a wide receiver option, but I think Robinson could go to the Packers to try and win a ring out that way. And sure, I don't want to say stick it to the Bears, but if maybe he feels he was slighted in some capacity by getting franchise tagged 2 years in a row, I think it was 2 years in a row, then maybe he does that. So it's so hard to tell. But if I had to guess right now, Hutch at 1, I would say Hamilton at 2. Oh, God, I don't even know. I want Willis to go at 2, and then I want Hamilton to go at 3. And then I want the Jets to have their choice of Thibodeau, Sauce, every other edge rusher, the offensive lineman I don't think we're going to go after. I would love a situation where Carolina does not trade for Watson, because then I would talk to Carolina and I would talk to the Giants and I'd say, hey, guys, we have an issue. The Carolina Panthers are trying to jump you, Giants. Maybe you should give us a 3rd-round pick so you can get your offensive lineman of choice at 4 and not have Carolina jump you for the guy you want. I like that. You move back. Giants aren't taking the same player the Jets are going to take. I don't think, at least. Tyree Wilson, thank you for the super chat again. Let me see if you put in a comment. Okay, there it is. I see your comment. He says, Jordan Davis at 4, Neal at 10. I do not want Neal. I don't want offensive line in the top 10 at all. I'm like totally off that train. Jordan Davis, if we take Jordan Davis at 10, God, I would be so upset. I don't want defensive tackle that early. I would say I don't want to say this is the worst case scenario for me, but it's up there. You're getting an elite defensive tackle prospect for sure, and you're getting a very versatile offensive lineman in Neal. But then where are you going to wind up playing him? I think you wind up kind of creating a little bit of a log jam on the offensive line. I think you should try to build up the areas of weakness, not build an area of strength already. Joe Payne drops in the super chat. Joe says, Jet fan living in Boston, trying to convert the wife. This might be the year. Don't forget about Lawson. Plenty of good edge rushers and corners in the top 30. That is true. I hope Lawson comes back 100%. If he comes back the way Cam Akers did in the Super Bowl, oh man, that's going to be an explosive Carl Lawson. And imagine pairing him with another edge rusher. Oh boy. Oh boy. I want them pinning their ears back, and I want JFM and Quinnen just pushing the pocket into the quarterback. If we can get some heat on the quarterback this year, and we've added the little bit of depth in the draft, we're going to see some victories, 100%. Jared drops in the super chat. He says, McCagnon is undercover somewhere in Jacksonville. I don't know what they're doing down there. It makes no sense. I mean, look, I like that they're surrounding Trevor Lawrence with offensive linemen. I like franchising Robinson. I like signing. I don't even like signing Sheriff. I'm glad we didn't sign Sheriff. I think they spent way too much money on a guy that's way too injured all the time. Phenomenal when he's on the field, but the injuries are really, really a concern. Robinson, it's still only a 1-year deal, so they're going to have to lock him in. I don't know, boys and girls. But yeah, it definitely feels like McCagnon's down under in Jacksonville. Jared drops in with another super chat. Jared says, Walker at 4, Johnson or Karlaftis at 10. Double dip at edge. I don't like that. I do like that, but I don't like that. I would not do that. I would take edge. Just draft one edge, because I really want to hope that Carl Lawson is the guy. And if you take 2 edges, Carl Lawson is not on this team beyond next year. I like Carl Lawson a lot. The video of him with the hat laying in bed and he's saying Jets, Jets, like that's one of like the fun little Twitter things that you can kind of see, and it's I don't know. I like him a lot, and I hope he rebounds hard. Let's see. Michael Dubois says, now we just draft Greg Dulich, tight end from UCLA, or Charlie Kolar from Iowa State at pick 111, and our tight end room is looking golden, pony boy. A little bit of greasers action right there. Yeah, look, if you can go... I like Charlie Kolar a lot. I'll be honest, I haven't done enough research on Greg Dulich, so I'd have to look into him before I could really speak intelligently on that one. But Charlie Kolar, like, he's a captain. I did a whole video on the tight ends that you could get from the Senior Bowl, and I really, really like Charlie Kolar. Like, the fact that he's as low as he is kind of surprises me. He's my late round guy if we don't get Ruckert, for sure. Mutt Viles drops in the super chat, says, JD is a master at trades. Also, DT in the second round. I agree. I think DT, defensive tackle, is absolutely a second round possibility now. I don't think it's... You know what? It wouldn't shock me either. So if the Jets go edge at 4, would it shock anyone if, like, let's say Jordan Davis was there at 10 and they pulled the trigger on him there, and then they want to go receiver at 35? Because, look, I still think the value at receiver is at 35, but if you covet London, then obviously take him there, or, you know, one of those top... If you covet a guy really early, take him at 10. Surround Wilson with the young talent at wide receiver and just forget about it. But I do think receiver is an option in the second round. Trading up for... There's part of me that really wants to trade up for Nakobe Dean. Like, I really, really like Nakobe Dean. But I just don't know where he's going to wind up going. If you could trade down from 10 and take Dean somewhere in the late teens, and then you take your wide receiver in the second, and you picked up whatever other picks in that trade down, I might prefer that at this point. Or you could just go with Sauce. I'm lost in the sauce, boys and girls. I'm sorry. Irving Grady Jr. says, what are the odds Joe Douglas signs Miles Jack? I would say it's 0 because he already signed with the Steelers. Kind of sucks. And it was a pretty reasonable deal, too. I was a little bummed we didn't get him. Noah says, Ryan, do you think Kayvon at 4, Wilson at 10 is the move now? I think it's going to be edge at 4, and I think it's going to be receiver at 10. I think that's what it's shaping up to, or at least it looks like it's shaping up to. I would look. I said earlier that I would look at Drake London because of his size and because of rumoredly how interested we were in Mike Williams. We were bummed that he got re-signed by the Chargers. We were going to go heavily after him. And you think, I want to say Drake London had like 6 games of like 130 yards of his 8 games that he played this year. Banana land, to steal a term from Matt. Edward Ziff drops in with Super Chat. Edward says, do you think Joe Douglas is basing this draft on the strength of the 2023 draft also? No, I don't think so. I think you're looking at this draft. I think you're trying to plug holes. The career shelf life for a wide receiver, or for any NFL player for that matter, is really low. So basing what you're doing this year on next year's draft is not a very wise decision unless you're maybe thinking quarterback. That's kind of what got us into trouble with the Mahomes-Watson draft, right? Like, we weren't necessarily sold on Mahomes or Watson. We needed a quarterback. We drafted Hack in the 2nd round the year before, and McCagnon didn't want to admit fault for taking Hack in the 2nd round. So he kept his eyes on the 2018 draft with Baker, Lamar, Sam, Allen, Rosen. Like, that draft was loaded. Like, you knew that draft was going to have a ton of talent in prospects. Now, 2 of them wound up being really good, and the other 3... 2 wound up being bad, and 1 in Baker is probably going to end up in Indianapolis next year. That's a whole crazy situation in Cleveland. Like, there's no way he wants to play. I don't think he wants to play for the Browns anymore. I'm pretty sure he's like done. I didn't read his whole thing, but not great. Rick drops in the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Rick. Let me see if I could find a comment that corresponds to that. I don't see it. So thank you for the super chat either way. Let's see. I thought I saw Q in here. Shane says, not a fan of the combine as a predictor of any sort of performance, usually, but something needs to be said about Jordan Davis Jordan Davis's name being mentioned alongside guys like Calvin Johnson. Thoughts? Yeah, look, he blew up the combine. I just don't want to go defensive tackle. That's really what it is. It's not a position I love. I want to see John Franklin Myers. I want to see Quinnen. Those are the guys I want to see highlighted. If you keep rankings, have fun with that. You got Jonathan Marshall. I get you're going to need some more depth, but man, I don't love the idea of going Davis early. Green Empire Lawn Care. The best lawn care that has super chatted in a Jets Talk 24/7 live stream. Boom. Plug that. Thank you for the super chat. He says, what if Joe D drafts Thibodeau at 4, we get a receiver at 10, and JD trades up to get Linderbaum? Wow, that would be cool. If Linderbaum falls to the 20s, I would strongly consider it. I don't love the idea of going center in the top 10, but if you're trading up for a generational type center you think he's a generational type center, I would consider it. Now, I have said before that a 2nd round pick plus our 3rd will get you up into the early 20s. If you trade away either 2nd plus our 3rd, will get you up into like the early to mid 20s. If you give up both 3rds, you're going up into like the mid teens, which I don't think I would do that because I think the top of the 2nd round is so valuable. You might even get teams that want to trade up to that pick because it's so early and they've had a night to digest a lot of stuff. So would I do this? Yeah, that would be amazing. that would be an overhaul. Be something special. Snipes, do you think last year's free agency or this year's free agency was better? So I really liked I feel like last year's free agency had the bigger names. You had Corey Davis, you had Carl Lawson, you brought in Vinny Curry, you got Keelan Cole. Like, there were a lot of attractive signings last offseason. And I'm probably drawing a blank on like way more than I'm just saying right now. But do I like last year's or this year's? I would say they're complementary. I don't know if you necessarily have to pick one or the other. I like the Lawson signing for sure. I was a big fan of that. I was really disappointed when he went down with the Achilles. I thought that was going to be a super special player. But I like where we're going here. Like this was what needed to happen this offseason. And I don't think you would have done this last offseason, if that makes sense. Rafe says, I prefer Burks over London at 10. He adds next level explosiveness to complement Moore's quickness. I would be very upset with Burks at 10. I shouldn't say very upset. I don't want Burks at 10. I think his combine is concerning. And you got to look at... I'm curious to see what Joe Douglas does, right? I've said this before. The last two drafts, he has not drafted a player in the first 3 rounds that had a RAS score below 8.6. The lowest player he drafted in the top 3 rounds with an 8.6 was Elijah Moore. Everyone else has been a 9 or above. Treylon Burks was a 6.9, I think. Like way lower. Maybe that doesn't matter. RAS score may not matter at all, but relatively athletic to your position group is kind of an important metric to look at. I don't know. I don't think I would do Burks there. Fat Gandalf says, Ryan, look at the quarterbacks in the AFC draft for the trenches. You're definitely going to. I just think I like Quinnen Williams. I like John Franklin Myers, so I don't think you need to take another defensive tackle there. But I do think you have to take an edge rusher, and I think you have to take a corner because, like you said, quarterbacks in the AFC. You got to shut down the receivers. You got to get to the quarterback, and you can do that with your front 4 plus some guys in the back end. You got to get a linebacker too, because otherwise your teams are just going to run on us. Hawk says, like the fucking video, you bums. Yeah, guys, we got like 800 people in here. That's kind of cool. This is like a little impromptu stream. I had no intentions of doing this. It was just like, I'll hop on for a little bit. I don't feel like editing a full video. So that's kind of cool. I actually like this particular style of video because then I get to hear your thoughts in real time versus like the edited video that takes me like 2 hours to make. And then, I have to go back later on and start responding to comments. Totally different. Let's see. NC53 says, with the signings that have been made, do you think we should double up on defense or hope for a receiver at 35 or 38? Or do you think we go edge at 4, receiver at 10? I would still like to double dip at defense, personally. I don't think you could go wrong with corner, and I don't think you could go wrong with edge rusher. But the way it's shaping up and the money that was spent on Reed implies they're not going to go center early, or not going to go cornerback early. I would say edge, receiver, defensive tackle, and linebacker, or safety. I think safety at the top around 2. I would, if I had to do it, if you had to like extrapolate value, that's probably not the right word. If you had to figure out what value there was at each pick, edge at 4, receiver at 10, safety at 35, and then 38's a little tricky. I would not go tight end there anymore. I don't think, unless they like covet McBride, but I would opt to go later than that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It also depends what they do with Fant. If Fant doesn't sign his contract, like a new contract with us, do the Jets end up looking for a tackle earlier than we expect too? It wouldn't shock me. Rick drops in with another super chat. Rick says, $5 super chat here. Let me see if I could find a comment underneath in any capacity. Rick, I don't see a comment. But thank you for the super chat. It means a lot. Makes it worth it. Right? King Blaze drops in the super chat. He says, if we draft a number 1 wide receiver, then what is Elijah Moore and Corey Davis? Moore can emerge as a number 1 or a great 2. Davis a 3. He can't be a 1 or question mark. Look, there's a really valid reason to kind of look at Corey Davis and say, hey, we think he is a number 1. Like, he was getting a lot of targets. Zach Wilson clearly has a rapport with him. And I think he built a rapport with Berrios and Elijah Moore. And if you're trying to run more 2 tight end sets, you're not going to have a lot of wide receivers out on the field. So I could understand not signing a big receiver. But Corey Davis could be cut after this year. If he underperforms or he has a lot of drops, now I would like to hold on to him. I don't want to see him gone because I do think he is a good receiver. But I do think you probably have to plan and draft a receiver so that way you have someone under contract for the next 4 or 5 years. If you take a first-round receiver, the thing I do like about that is you split up the contracts for Elijah Moore and the first-round receiver by 2 years because you have Elijah Moore who's going to have 3 years on his contract and the new rookie that's going to have 5. And that, salary cap-wise, eventually is something that's kind of attractive to kind of think about. Who's the next one up? I saw King. Did we do King Blaze? We did King Blaze already. Yeah, wide receiver. So JVF drops him in the super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, greetings from Germany. What's up? Hope everything's all right over there. If someday the Jets come to the international games in Munich and we want Kayvon at 4 and a running beast wide receiver at 10. So is it a running beast in terms of Treylon Burks, who is just like a big-bodied dude who's going to run you down? Or is this like a Drake London that's a really big dude? Or is it a great running route beast like Garrett Wilson? I don't know. But greetings from across the pond. I don't know what time it is over there. It's got to be at least 5 or 6 hours, I would think. So it's got to be... Well, thank you. Thank you for being up and hanging out. Matthew Lakers drops in the super chat. He says, I don't want a wide receiver at 10. No Chase or Lamb in this draft worth taking that high. I'm talking myself into Davis or Wyatt at 10, best edge at 4. Yeah, look, I'm still going to be on board with edge at 4. That's kind of, I'm pretty much hitching my wagon to that, especially because I think there's a chance that Sauce falls to 10. And I kind of really, I'm lost in the sauce. I'm going to keep saying that. It's so great. I want to see wide receivers covered in sauce. But no, look, if they wanted to do edge rusher at 4 and D tackle at 10, look, I don't love it. But if your goal is, hey, we're getting out after the quarterback, we're going to make this a nasty defensive line, maybe. I would like to trade down from 10 at that point if you're not going to take a wide receiver. Scott drops in with a super chat. Scott says, not going to lie, I'm really not keen on facing Von Miller twice a year. Hope Becton gets his act together. Did you see, if you haven't looked at my Twitter, I saw someone post a video of Lake and Tomlinson just pancaking Von Miller in pass protection, and it made me oh so happy. Oh so happy. So I'm not worried about Von Miller. We're going to have an iron wall in front of us. In front of Zach Wilson. Don't even worry. 33-year-old edge rusher. 6 years, $120 million. Woof. Now that contract is really a 3-year, $52 million deal. He's not actually going to play all 5 years. But yeah, no, look, I'll be honest. I'm not looking forward to facing the Bills. They're a filthy team. Like they had, I don't know what their edge presence was prior to this, like where they ranked. But you got to think with the kind of caliber secondary they have now combined with an edge rusher like Von Miller, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a headache. Good thing is Zach Wilson's mobile, so, we got that going for us. Antonio Jimenez drops in with super chat. He says, Crowder, sign Julio, draft Burks, or get DK. I don't like this at all. Sorry. I love Crowder. I really do. I like Julio. I don't want to sign Crowder, because I would prefer to give those reps to Berrios or Moore. I don't want Julio because he doesn't stay healthy at this point, and he's going to cost a little bit more than I want to pay that particular type of receiver. And then Burks, I don't mind Burks. I would take Burks or DK. DK, you're just going to have to give out a massive contract to, but he's worth it, right? Like 24-year-old wide receiver hitting the prime of his career. You got a young quarterback. Now's the time to do it if you're going to do it. But I do like the idea of drafting a wide receiver. There's something about like giving a monster contract to someone outside of our team kind of I don't love, because I think it creates a weird dynamic in the locker room. I know guys don't talk money, but like when someone's seriously overpaid and someone's seriously underpaid, then it does create some sort of weird situations. Lou Schneider. Schonder. Sorry, I don't know where I'm getting these names from. Lou, thank you for the super chat. He says, just tossing a $5 thank you. The last 3 days have been great. Like Tony the Tiger. I wish I had pronounced your name correctly. I'm sorry. But yeah, dude, it's been fun. I have enjoyed the Monday, Tuesday, these little live streams that we do where I kind of get your thoughts. It's been fun. I have enjoyed this. This is my favorite time of year. It's sad because I want to be excited during the season, but it's definitely our favorite time of year. And according to my channel analytics, it's your favorite time of year too. You meaning the whole chat. Justin Rivera drops in with super chat. He says, the way this free agency is going, I'm thinking running back might be in play in the second round. Spiller or Walker, I wouldn't be mad at. Yeah, look, I saw a few people talking about this, and I'm not opposed to it now. I think you have filled holes in such a way that you could get yourself a really good running back, like possibly the first running back off the board at 35. Maybe you wind up getting the second one, but I think it's going to be one of the top 2 guys if you pull the trigger on it. Now, if you were to do that and you want to say, what value could you get at running back? You could arguably get the top, possibly a top edge, not the top edge rusher, but one of the top edge rushers at 4. You get one or either first or second best wide receiver at 10. You get the first or second best running back at 35 or 38. And then, whatever else you want to do. Safety, you could do the same thing, right? Like, you're not getting Hamilton, but there's a chance you get either Seen or Petrie or Brisker. Is it Hall is the other one? Daxton Hall, I think. I might have that name wrong. Yeah, look, there's a lot of different options you can go. A lot of different ways. Oh, you guys are saying Godwin got signed. Is that true? Godwin, 3 years, $60 million with $40 million fully guaranteed at signing. He'll be a free agent again at age 29. It's important for him, right? You get that opportunity to get that extra contract in there. He's not sitting on the franchise tag, which is eating up a ton of money for them. I don't think he actually... Does he get $20 million each year? Maybe. Maybe it's only a 2-year deal that they can get out of after that 3rd year. It's possible. Let's see. Noah says, what players do you think we should look out for in free agency now? Arden Key. I don't think he's been signed yet. If he hasn't been signed, he's the edge rusher. I believe he was from LSU initially. Drafted by the Raiders, is that right? And then went to the 49ers. And started to kind of come on, from my understanding. Hawk says, DK has a notoriously sick work ethic, so I think even with the contract, he will fit fine here. I wouldn't hate that move. I have no idea what Seattle does. It's like a really weird situation. Michael, what do you think about trading Denzel Mims, Ashton Davis, and pick 4 to Carolina for pick 6 and DJ Moore? I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I do like the idea of getting DJ Moore. Now, the trade back from 4 to 6, I believe, is the equivalent of a mid-3rd round pick. So you're saying that DJ Moore is basically worth a 3rd plus Ashton Davis and Denzel Mims. I think Ashton Davis and Denzel Mims are pretty much throw-ins at this point. I don't know if I would do that. I guess you get your receiver, then you can take your edge rusher at 6, and then you can take someone else at 10. Yeah, I would probably do that. That's a good move. Let's see. Mudfiles drops in with super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, at first I was upset about the Bills getting Von Miller, but then I saw our new guard pancake him, so I know we're good. Draft James Cook with the 3rd rounder. I like James Cook would be my top running back. He really is. The back from Georgia. If you haven't watched him, he's pretty special in a game. And maybe it's like Georgia's just loaded across the board and it's not as special as I think it is, but he's fun to watch. He's definitely fun to watch. Definitely worth a highlight. Yo, it's Vin. Thank you for the super chat. He says, Joe Douglas continues to win this offseason. Let's effing go. Dude, I just really like Joe Douglas. Like, he just makes a world of sense. Like, every move he makes, I can look at and say, yes, I understand why you did that. With McCagnon, I had no idea why he went after C.J. Mosley. That contract caught me completely off guard. I don't understand McCagnon. I don't understand Hackenberg in the second round. I thought that was a horrible draft pick. Most of the time, high second round quarterbacks are not, or at least when we took them, high second round quarterbacks were not super consistent, or like, he was actually mid. He was like pick 50 something. So a mid second round quarterback generally is a very long shot to do well. But Joe Douglas, I'm on board. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. I can leave her if I tried. Sorry. Thinking Shrek. New York Jets fan forever. Thank you for the super chat. He says, is Allen Robinson signed anywhere? No, the belief right now, from my understanding, is that he's waiting to see what happens with Davante Adams, because I think he wants to go to Green Bay, and I think Davante Adams winds up in Vegas with Carr. He's really close with Carr. He wound up buying a house in Vegas, so I think that's where he wants to go. The Raiders just cleared a ton of cap space. They have the picks to go get him if they want. I don't know. Let's see. Who else we got? Wild Billy Boy drops in with a super chat. Says, Kate T at 4, linebacker at 10, safety, and Pickens in the second round. Wow, I like that. Dude, that's how you get talent. Thibodeau at 4, elite edge rusher. Linebacker at 10, you take Nakobe Dean? Oh, man. I told you, right after the season ended, I was on Richie's stream, and we were talking like, okay, yeah, so who are you kind of like taking a look at? I was like, dude, I want to find a reason to take Nakobe Dean. Like, really bad. He's just a violent linebacker. I just don't know if top 10's where you do it. I think he's good enough to go around there, but I don't know if we do that. But if we did that, I'd be okay with it. Safety in the second round, I do think there's going to be a lot of value there, for sure. And then Pickens, I think, could be the best wide receiver in this draft if he didn't tear his ACL in April or May of last year, back in spring. He wound up playing in the final game of the season, plus the playoff game against... Who did they play against? I think he played in 2 games this year. Either way, Pickens is really good. If you haven't watched him, seriously, go check out his highlights. He's really, really good. And he killed the combine, too. Richard Delgado drops in the super chat. Thanks, Dick. He says Mike White is greater than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was the 2nd overall pick, while White was supposed to go number 1. Did you see the edit? Was it? Oh, I don't know who it was on Twitter now. It might have been Mike or Matt39 or Jet Press or so. I don't remember. But one of them made the NFL's top players, like, you know how they do the ESPN, like, oh, this player's number 1. Well, they edited it so it made it look like Mike White was number 1. It really made me smile. I like Mike White. I just, I like Zach Wilson way more. I like Joe Flacco a lot too. Mike White's exciting. That was a fun 4 days we had from, what was it, Sunday afternoon to Thursday night football, and then it just kind of fizzled out. NY Jets forever. Thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, playoffs if Zach Wilson improves significantly. Yeah, look, if he takes the jump, when I'm watching Zach Wilson, I wouldn't say I'm 100% sure that he's going to make the jump. I would say it's a coin flip for sure. It's tough, but I am very, very optimistic because of things that we saw him do. Like a lot of the little tiny things towards the end of the season. You saw him start trying to work the hard count, getting guys to jump off sides. You saw him run to the line of scrimmage to snap the ball quicker to catch guys still, substituting. There's little things like that. There was the weird flip where he had the interception. Then I don't know if it was a week or 2 later, but it was right after, where he almost did the same thing. He looked, saw the linebacker, held it, and I don't remember if he took a sack or if he got a yard or 2. But whatever it was, you saw the click. It was very, he understood what happened. And it seemed like he got smarter as the season went on. Now, he didn't have as much talent around him, and I think that is definitely an issue. So you have to surround him with the tight ends because we want to run through the tight ends. I'm interested to see what happens. And if he's not playing from behind all the time, then you can really establish the running game and kind of work off that play action. So I really like it a lot. I don't know. I think if Zach plays, if he continues to trend up the way he was trending up towards the end of the season, I would say the Jets are on pace for 7 wins this year. Now, I could see as low as 6. I could see as high as probably 9. I'd have to look at the schedule probably to really, pencil it down super hard. But I would say if you can get to that point where you're in the hunt in December consistently and you're not just tapping out, so like be early in the season, October, you're like done. Like it sucks covering a team where you're like all amped up for the season and then it's like beat down after beat down after beat down. And then you're like, okay, no one is searching Jets highlights right now. But I'm still making the content. Ugh, it's tough. Stephen Riley drops in the super chat. Thanks, brother. He says 38 for Danielle Hunter, 4 Sauce, 10 Wilson, 35 Mafe. I don't. Ooh. Okay, so you're getting 2 edge rushers plus Lawson. I don't hate that. Interesting. I just think a Sauce at 4 after you just signed Reed. I don't know. It's not bad. Like, because realistically, it's probably going to take Sauce about a year to kind of get his feet under him. Like, it took Revis at least a year to kind of get his feet under him, too. And then you have Reed for a little bit. You kind of work in Sauce. I mean, you're going to have Sauce for 5 years if you draft him, where Reed might only be a 2-year deal, depending on how they structured this contract. I don't know. That's interesting. I wouldn't hate that. Mumtaz drops in with a super chat, says, I think beauty of this free agency so far is that it really doesn't prevent us from adding any position. Best player available, baby. Maybe tight end is done. 2 guys with $45 million invested. Edge, wide receiver, cornerback, free safety with the first 4 will be awesome. Yeah, I think that's probably the direction we go. I would say maybe... I do think running back may have snuck in there. It's not where I ideally want it. Like, I would prefer Cook in a later round. Is it Cook or Cooks? The guy from Georgia, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not sure what we do with the second round. I would probably be more willing to trade a second-round pick now while targeting edge, receiver, safety, and trading the other second-round pick for, like, a Danielle Hunter or another player of choice. It's going to be interesting. We have a lot of options, but you're absolutely right. The best part of this free agency is we could go any direction in the draft, which means teams may not be able to trade up in front of us because they don't know what direction we're going to go. Maybe it seems like we're going to go wide receiver at 10, and we're hoping someone comes up to Seattle's pick to jump us, and then someone else falls down. Who knows? Who knows? Joe Douglas knows. Tyree Wilson, thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, James Cook at 35, Jermaine Johnson at 38. Jermaine Johnson might be a top 10 pick. There's no way he makes it to 38. He had an insane combine. Insane. I do like both players for sure, but I don't think that's how it winds up breaking. Garbage Time Fantasy Football says, Ryan, ready for 2 tight end sets. Just did our fantasy football podcast, Garbage Time Fantasy Football episode, and got to break down Conklin and Uzma for fantasy football. I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see 2 tight end sets. I just want to look at competent offense. And I do feel like we got, spurts of that throughout the course of this year. I think LaFleur is our best offensive coordinator since, was it not Chad Morton? John Morton? Is that right? The Saints guy that we had for a season with McCown? He's my favorite offensive coordinator I've seen so far. But now LaFleur is really, he might have taken the cake. He did take the cake. What should I say? I like LaFleur a lot. Jets Forever says, McBride at 35, F this BS. No, look, if you like McBride still, then go ahead, take him at 35. But I do like that we're signing the tight ends because now it at least appears like we may not take a tight end at 35 because I do think the Giants are potentially a threat to go after tight end now that they've lost Ingram. So look, if you could hide what you're possibly doing, it's not a bad move. Not a bad move. Yo, it's Finn. Drops in the super chat. Says, unrelated to Jets, have you seen Batman yet? Ooh, I did. Really good. Saw it opening night in Dolby Atmos. I'm a big movie buff. I graduated from Binghamton with a film degree, and I love movies. Big movie guy. Oddly enough, there's a lot of really good movies that I just have not seen. Mainly because my, maybe my family just wouldn't watch certain movies as a kid, and at this point they're so dated that I just haven't watched him. But I really like the new Batman. I like that his voice didn't sound like the Dark Knight Batman. I like that it was gritty. Pattinson did way better as Batman than I would have thought. I would say you probably got a little too much love story, but I like the Riddler. I like where things are kind of going in that universe. The only thing I don't like about DC specifically is like I think Superman is such an asshole. He's he's a cheat code. Superman is the kid on the playground that says like, okay, we're playing superheroes. Oh, you're Batman. Okay. Oh, you're Iron Man. Okay. You're Hulk. Okay. Yeah. Well, you can't shoot me. Oh, and I can jump over a building. Oh, and I can fly. And I've got laser beams. And I'm like, screw you. No, you're the jerk. Like, no. You can't do that. I can stop a speeding bullet. Stop it. Ugh, sorry, this is me ranting about superheroes now. Natural Brown, thank you for the super chat. He says, what did I miss, Ryan? What was said about Conklin? What's the PFF? I didn't even go over to Pro Football Focus. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what he's got going on. We'll go to premium stats. See, that's what's nice when you spring for the elite package. What am I typing in? Conklin. When I saw Conklin was signed, I was like, the Jets got Jack Conklin? What? And then I was like, oh, Tyler Conklin. Whoops, never mind. All right, so his by-game performance, his best game of the season was against Baltimore, then Seattle, and then Detroit were the three best offensive games he had. His worst games of the season were against Chicago, Cincinnati, and the Chargers. But I also don't really know what to make of the Vikings. Like, I think they're really good, but I'm not really sure. This was his best graded year of his career. He started out in 2018, 59 overall. Now, he only had 146 snaps that year. His snaps have increased each year, and they pretty much doubled each year. So he went from 146 snaps his rookie year, graded as a 59, had just under 300 snaps 2019, 52.8. Last year, 2020, 227 snaps. Last year, 449 snaps. Last year, 924 snaps. So he's gotten more playing time, and he's gotten better. So this is a guy that's trending up in the right direction, and he's going to play that halfback, fullback, tight end role that we kind of had Quincy Enunwa for a bit. I think he's going to be used similarly to like Juszczyk from the 49ers. Mutt Viles drops in with a super chat. Thank you, Mutt Viles. He says, we play the AFC and NFC North, Denver and Seattle. Say we split the division, we are 3-3. Cincinnati, Detroit, Chicago, Jacksonville, Seattle, Cleveland, Minnesota, and Steelers all win. Lose to Denver, Baltimore, and Green Bay. 11-6, wild card. Let's go, Zach. Go Jets. 3-3 in the division. So you're probably talking about maybe sweeping Miami plus one Patriot game, because I don't think anyone's going to pick us to beat the Bills in any capacity. So if you go 3-3, look, we beat Cincinnati last year, so I guess there's an off chance we do it, but Jamar Chase had a horrible game against us. He had dropped a touchdown. Detroit, I think we can beat Chicago. We can beat Jacksonville. We could beat Seattle. We can beat Cleveland, especially if they trade Baker now. And they may not have a quarterback. Could you imagine you piss off Baker and now you don't get Watson? Oh, man, they shot themselves in the foot. And I don't understand, like, Baker's not, like, a great quarterback, but I think the guy's got a ton of balls. The fact that he played hurt all season, you know, it's a testament to him for sure. Minnesota, I don't trust Kirk Cousins at this point. And Steelers, you don't know what's going to happen. I could see them all being wins. 11-6, dude. We're going to be in the hunt all year. We better be. We should be, at least. Jabal Simpson, thank you for the super chat. He says, I want Sauce, pause, at 4. Who you want at 4 and 10? Dude, who do I want? I do want Sauce. But it would be a bad allocation of resources, I think, after spending 3 years, $33 million on Reed. I would say it's edge rusher at 4. And then... And I don't want to say a particular edge rusher. I like a lot of them. Like I do like Thibodeau. I like Hutch. I like Karlaftis, Johnson, Walker. Who else is there? I feel like I'm missing one. Ojabo. I don't think you're going that high with him. Green Bean seems to think there's a real good shot the Jets could get Hutch. And here's the situation that winds up happening. You see, oh no, he's saying he still thinks offensive lineman at 1. I still think Hutch goes 2. Or I think Hutch goes 1. So I would go edge at 4, and then I would say receiver, trade down, or linebacker at 10 maybe? I don't know. 10's an interesting spot now. I feel like we've plugged enough holes that I'm not too concerned with what direction we go, which is kind of nice. Boogie Down Bronx, thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, I have a feeling that JD and Salah are comfortable with their linebackers and they probably feel that they don't need to draft one. Not sure I agree. I would say there's a lot less to be, or there's more to be desired from the coverage standpoint. Now, maybe Nasir Al-Din or Sherwood wind up coming back and they are our cover linebackers. Possibly. Like, maybe that's a thing. But I would think linebacker is definitely a need. Now, one thing you can consider is Robert Saleh is a linebackers coach, so if he thinks he could take guys in later rounds and groom them up, that's not a bad thing either. But yeah, I agree. Look, I think linebackers a need, especially with CJ Mosley not guaranteed to be here after next year. I think there's probably some thought to like, hey, let's at least get someone in the building so we can negotiate with CJ to maybe lower his contract next year. Because I don't hate having him. I would have him for sure, but I don't think we hold on to him if he's at his current cap hit next year. So I agree. I do think linebacker's a bigger need. But I did hear that they are happy with Quincy. So we'll see. Let's see. HMNI Cadoza, 17-0 or bust. Hey, I'm going to predict a win every single week. And if I'm wrong, we're just going to win next week. That's what's going to happen. Let's see. What else are you guys talking about in here? Fresh 3542 says Sam Williams ran a 4.51 at defensive end. What the heck are you typing? 31-inch arms. Is that right? 30. I don't know if that's right. 31-inch arms. I can't read this. This hurts my head. I can't look at this right now. Brad Doyle says Ruckert can be a B+ or A+ special teams player off the bat. I like Ruckert a lot, and it's just kind of weird for where you think you might have to take him, because I think if he was showcased, he could be a end of the second, beginning of the third round talent. But because he was not showcased at Ohio State, and he did not play in the Senior Bowl, and he did not run the 40 at the combine, I think his stock is artificially lower than it should be. And I'm all right with that. I don't hate it. Let's see. Greg Gogney, our buddy. Won a shirt 2 nights ago, brother? I think that's what it was. Z-Dub is our boy. Love me some Zach Wilson. I don't know if Green Bean's in the chat, but I see, bam! Fresh says Green Bean. Just going to throw that on the screen for a sec. Sports Frenzy says, I think we go 7-10, beating the Pats once, Finns once, Steelers, Lions, Bears, Seahawks, Jaguars. I'd be okay. Look, we went, 2-14 2 years ago, 4-13 this year. I would say 7 wins is the floor I want to see. I want to see, in the hunt. That's really what I want. In contention for those playoff spots, those wild card spots. Zachary Berner says Evan Ingram for $10 million, and the Jets signed C.J. Uzomah and Tyler Conklin for $15 million. That's the same thing with the Marcus Williams thing, right? The Jets spent a little bit more to get 2 tight ends instead of Ingram for $10 million, which I'm happy with. I don't want Evan Ingram at all. He had a case of the dropsies. I would say it's very similar to what happened with Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams got $14.5 million from the Ravens. Love the player. Love him for the Ravens. No issues. I would have paid him $14.5 million. But the Jets got a safety and a corner for $18 million. And you could argue that the 2 of Reed and Whitehead together is better than the single signing of Marcus Williams. And these are the types of moves that a smart GM makes in Douglas compared to a knee-jerk GM like Fans or like McCagnon. Not saying that everyone would want to, blow a massive contract or anything like that, but I do think going heavy after safety was the right move. Just a little bummed to see, him go elsewhere. Michael. What are your thoughts on Hamilton at 4 and then Walker, Jermaine Johnson at 10? I know you don't have the hots for KT and you get a unicorn safety and a comparable edge with high character. I like Walker and Johnson a lot. I think they are two very, very high character guys. I would take either one of them. Hamilton at 4 is still in play. Like, Whitehead's only on a 2-year deal. Joyner's on a 1-year deal. Ashton Davis could have a foot out the door, possibly. He's got 2 years left on his deal. I would say Hamilton's on the table, for sure. I just don't know if I love that. I was kind of hoping we don't go safety early, but if they think he's generational, whatever. We'll see what happens. Charles Gorman, thank you for the super chat. I do not see a message, but I'll scroll down and see if anything pops up. I don't see anything. William says, just made it. Julio Jones being released. What do you think? I don't want Julio Jones. He has not been healthy enough. There was a point in time where he was the best receiver in the league, or one of the top 2 receivers in the league. And unfortunately, I think that is beyond this point in his career, and I would not bring him in. I think you got to go younger at this point. Shane says, Danielle Hunter is on the trade block. JD, please make the move. If you think Hunter is totally healthy and you don't have to worry about his medicals, make the move. The dude he is the fastest edge rusher to get to 50 sacks in NFL history. What do you need to say? That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. Charles Gorman drops in with another super chat. Thank you, Charles. I do not see a comment after that. So if you're trying to make a comment, I didn't see it. Oh, there it is. Hold on. All right. Charles says, Ryan, you made me happy until you whined about Superman. Look, I love superheroes. They're all great. I'm a big fan of all, I love the Marvel characters. I really do like DC. I just don't like Superman. I think he's a cheat code. He's the cheat code of little kids playing superheroes in the backyard. That's my thoughts on Superman. Jesse Stowe, thank you for the super chat. He says, loves the move so far. Zach's progress matters, though. This team does not go anywhere without Zach Wilson, but we are plugging holes and surrounding him with talent. We have shored up our offensive line. This is the best offensive line that we've had since 2010. No questions asked. I really think this is the best line. Joe Douglas came in here, and in 2.5 years, on paper, looking really good. We brought back Dan Feeney. I would like to bring back LDT. I don't know if he's signed anywhere. I don't think he has. Yeah, I like it. Big fan, but Zach's progress is going to dictate how this team goes. Teddy! Thank you for the super chat. Says Thibodeau at 4, Hamilton or Sauce at 10. If Hamilton falls to 10, I would take him for sure. 4 is kind of the tip. I want edge. I don't think you can come out of the top 10 without an edge unless you trade for someone like Danielle Hunter. But I think trading for Danielle Hunter... Oh, Hunter was released. Is that what just happened? Someone let me know if that's true. I've got to go to Twitter now and see what's going on. Was he actually released? Let me look at I gotta look at the chat because I'm not seeing it. Lies, fake news. Okay, you know who gets? Let's see. Where was that? Oh, it's FM. FM? Sorry, dude, I'm putting you in the timeout. You're getting a timeout. If you spam in the chat or you say something that's just supposed to trigger a reaction, you're going to get blocked. Sorry, dude. You come back in 400 seconds or whatever the timeout is, 300 seconds. Hit him with the technical. Put him in the box. Jacob Grossman says, with no improvement from Zach, this team still wins 6 games. Obviously can't regress, but with all the signings and Lawson, they'll definitely win 6. Yeah, look, you get Lawson back, and you get a second-year Elijah Moore, a second-year Michael Carter, second-year AVT. You guys are saying chicken him? Can I shoot the chicken? Can I shoot the chicken? Ah!
You're out of here!
If you guys haven't seen the chicken, you guys have been missing out. The chicken is absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Hawk, give him the chicken. Let's see. Punish him for his crimes. I do enjoy that. That made me smile. Ooh, JD or JC says, Zach, the stealth bomber Wilson. So, if you guys don't know, I run a golf course. That's my day job is I take care of a golf course up here in Jersey. And I just got myself the new stealth driver from TaylorMade. Actually, I got my TaylorMade shirt on. Bam! TaylorMade, baby. I can't even show it. It's there. It says TaylorMade. But I got my new self, the stealth driver. You can customize the color. Guess who's getting himself a Hunter Green stealth bomber driver? This guy is. Pretty happy about it. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Ooh, I was going to talk about Matthew, but I got to... no, we'll do this. Okay, Ryan, where do you think JD goes from here? Do you think we are done? No, I hope we get an edge rusher. I want Arden Key, maybe a trade for Danielle Hunter, something along those lines. But this is the comment I want to get to. You, my friend, Nick, Godzilla or King Kong? Dude, I was a big dinosaur fan growing up as a kid. So I watched like every King Kong movie and every Godzilla movie. Basically all the monster movies. I think my favorite is, well, it's obviously Godzilla for me. But I do think the King Kong movies are better because he has more human-like faces and like reactions, so you can kind of sympathize with him almost. I thought Kong Skull Island was fantastic, absolutely awesome. But dude, I'll go to the movies, Dolby. I'll go in like the big screen, the sound where it's the spatial awareness. It's like you hear the helicopter flying overhead. I would see any one of them. I can't wait. My daughter, get this. So I'm having a baby girl in June. I'm a big dinosaur fan. Jurassic Park comes out on, I think it's either the 9th or the 10th of June. It would be poetic justice if my daughter is born on the date the final Jurassic Park comes out. That would be really funny. Oh, you know what? Here, let's do this. I'm going to end this poll. So the poll up at the top, you guys are 72% say signing Tyler Conklin was your favorite part of today versus Cashman for a 6th. But we're going to start another poll because I'm just curious. This is me spitballing here. Who do you like more? You come to Jets Talk 24/7 to get Jets Talk, and sometimes you get movies and monsters. All right, so that's in the chat. I saw a few guys asking me about golf. Harold says, what's your handicap? That's not very nice. I don't think that's politically correct. No, I'm a terrible golfer. So I got into golf by accident. I caddied for 2 summers in high school, and I worked at the ski resort up here. And when I got out of college, I did it just for the free season pass for the winter. And then I got out of college. I didn't really have a job lined up. I lifeguarded at a pool in the winter or in the summer, and then I got back to the winter. I was like, well, I'll go back. Why not? My boss was like, we didn't know you were coming back. I was like, yeah, I surprised myself too. I just want the free pass. He goes, you want 40 hours? Sure. So then, long story short, he's like, okay, you're going to go work in golf after this. So, whatever. It worked out. Duncan McLean says, Ryan plays the bagpipes at Ballyowen. I don't play the bagpipes at Ballyowen. I did work at Ballyowen for a year, though. I was the event coordinator there for a season before I got moved over to my other course. I'll see if you guys can figure that out. I have brought it up before, and I don't know if... Actually, I've been recognized at my course, so there's probably a few of you guys in here that definitely know where I work. But it's kind of cool. King Kong is winning 53% of the vote. That's a lot closer than I thought. I wasn't sure which direction it would go. Colin says, what golf course in Jersey do you work at? Have to check it out. All right, let's get back to football, boys. Come on. Charles says, congratulations, Ryan. I wish you the best of being a father. Thank you. I'm really excited. I find myself talking to Becca's stomach like at random points in the day. I'm just like, hey, yo, baby girl. I don't know if you know who this is, but this is Dad. Hope you're doing all right in there. All right, Dad out. And Becca's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sorry. DJ Shrek says, have you watched Batman? Fantastic. Yes, completely agree. Zebra wants the chicken. Stevie Steve says, yo, Ryan, get all the rest you can now. Babies never sleep. That's what I've heard. I was a pretty easy baby, so I'm hoping maybe, like, daughter will be kind of easy too. We'll see. I think I'm going to wind up doing more of this style of show once the baby's born, so I don't have to spend as much time editing, and I can actually, like, spend a little more time with the family. But you get all my rumblings. D. Mars, I did at one point. I'm not going to bring up your comment just because I don't want people to like dox me. But yeah, no. Bill says, Ryan, will you please read up on Danielle Hunter is to be released? They're trying to trade him, or he will be released. That's kind of what it is. Ooh, David got it. David was right. I won't say it, but he's right. Nick H says Godzilla wins Final Wars. I love monster movies. Daniel, been saying Danielle way too much this stream. What's up with Julio Jones to New York Jets? I would not do that. I think that's a bad move. Let's see. Taps any button. Am I the only one who notices Ryan says fantastic? Fantastic. Sorry. Fantastic. I also say Bengals a lot. And like somehow I guess I'm pronouncing that wrong. Harold says maybe do a Marvel baby show. Yeah, maybe I'll have a secondary YouTube channel that's like devoted to movies and stuff. My original idea for a YouTube channel was not a Jets channel, believe it or not. Yo, Ryan, you're going to be a dad. Yeah, you damn right I am. Really excited. Ryan has his poll on the internet again. My poll's been all over the internet. Just looking at the wrong ones. Google Peter North, then you'll find it. Don't do that. Afram, are you going to make your daughter a Jets fan or give her free reign to pick who she wants to root for? So I said that before. Like maybe I can't put her in the sadness factory that is the New York Jets, but maybe I will go the route of here are the teams you can't pick. Like you can't pick the Dolphins, the Bills, the Patriots, the Cowboys, the Giants, like those sorts of teams, but you can pick any other team. Nah. If I'm doing a Jets channel, there's a really good shot she's going to end up being a Jet fan. And I'm going to love it. I'm going to absolutely love it. Oh, so we were talking, Becca and I need a new desk chair. My chair is like peeling apart and ripping apart. Like it is a bad chair. I've had it for way too long. And our dog Bolly is always sitting in the background when I do stuff occasionally. Not all the time. But Becca wants me to get a little sidecar and we'll have Bali. And I actually got Bali a bomber jacket that says co-pilot on it when I was out in Arizona seeing Green Bean, and it was fantastic. Lame Cactus. You're already my daddy, Ryan. You can call me daddy. It's all right. It's going to be my nickname soon enough. Gansito Boy says, don't really have a question or a comment, but love your content, brother. Thank you. That means a lot. I really have a lot of fun with this channel. It's not, some things are frustrating with, the editing portion or like when things don't work out on a live stream and I get technical difficulties. But by and large, I really do enjoy this. This has been a nice way to vent and just connect with people all over the world. I mean, I've become best friends with Matt and Greenbean, and I would have never met them had I not, done any of this stuff. Paris says, Ryan, she might rebel and become a Patriots or Dolphins fan. No, because she'll be disowned. Sorry, guess who's getting cut out of the will? ZZ Gable says, hypothetical, we signed Gilmore. Now what do we do at 4, 10, 35, and 38? How many games do we win? I would be very upset if we went after Gilmore. I don't think we were in on Gilmore at all. I think Gilmore was trying to use the Jets as leverage to get more money out of the Ravens. Sorry, not the Ravens, the 49ers. And I think what happened was Shanahan obviously knows Saleh. They're probably like, oh, this is interesting. They're going after Gilmore. That doesn't seem like a Robert Saleh move. Hey, yo, Bob Saleh, what are you doing over there? You going after Gilmore? What are you offering him? Maybe we'll give you one of our guys. Let us get him. Oh, you're not going after him? Oh, he can go kick rocks. We're gonna go get Ward instead. That's what happened. But where do we go at 4, 10, 35, and 38? I would say edge, receiver, safety, maybe maybe running back. I have no idea. There's going to be a lot of interesting ways you can go. I'm not sure how it shakes out. V-Man drops in the super chat. V-Man says, maybe by the time she is old enough to watch football, the days of LOL Jets will be a distant memory. By the way, congrats. Thank you, dude. Dude, I'm like all sorts of like hoping that my daughter doesn't go through like the sadness factory that is the Jets. But at the same time, I'm really looking forward to her going through it with me. And then I also hope that I've been alive for probably the most I don't want to say productive, but maybe the most successful stretch of Jets years. Like if you had to pick a 30-year chunk, it's probably this 30-year chunk. Or maybe it ended in 2010 and was like before into the 80s. Maybe you could probably argue that. But thanks, dude. Seriously. Yo, it's Vin. Drops in the super chat. He says, St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. We wear Jets jerseys. You're damn right we do. Maybe I'll go into work with a Jets jersey. Actually, I got a Jets polo. Check this out. We were cleaning out one of the buildings yesterday. Found this bad boy. Check that out. Jets polo, baby. Pretty happy. Maybe I'll wear that to work. I'll wear that to work tomorrow. That's a good point. St. Patty's Day. Kyle Ormsby drops in the super chat, says, give this to Matt to help fix his internet. Yeah, we were talking before, and I was like, Matt, can you do a speed test? Like, what is your internet? And he's like, I got 90 down and 10 up. I was like, really? I was like, and you're on Long Island? He's like, yeah. I was like, how do you have that kind of internet? Because I'm in the sticks here, and I got 400 down and 40 up. He's got Optimum, I've got Optimum. So it's interesting. I don't know why his internet was kind of acting up that way, but he's got a bone to pick with Optimum for sure. Hopefully it works out, because I don't like hearing the stuttering. I just want to hear his beautiful voice. That's the whole reason I reached out to him. I was like, Matt, you sound beautiful. Come on over. Let's talk some stuff. Stamina Jones. What's up, dude? He says, Ryan, I'm a big fan of your channel. I love everything Joe Douglas has done so far, but I want to address the elephant in the room. Our linebacker corpse is pretty thin. How do you see Joe Douglas addressing this? First off, thank you. Really appreciate it. I really do. So how do I think they address the linebacker position? I do think they draft one, and I think it's going to be a little bit later. Like, I originally thought it was going to be like the 4th round. Now with signing the 2 tight ends, maybe that moves up a round or 2. Like, if you covet a guy in the 2nd round, maybe you pull the trigger there. Or if you like all the receivers that could possibly be available in the 2nd round and you want to go with your edge rusher and Nakobe Dean at 10, I won't have any problems with that. I love the player. And then you go into the second round and maybe you go wide receiver like Watkins or Dotson or Pickens, maybe Burks falls there. There's going to be a lot of options. Carmelo. Matt's internet is tanking the season. Trying to get the number 1 pick. Socrates, Matt's internet was sanctioned. Oh, God. Gangrene Goliath. How in the world people choosing King Kong over Godzilla? Because King Kong is cool. Like, I like King Kong a lot. Like, I like the human type aspect of him, and how he can he uses tools and stuff like that. But Godzilla's just a cool dinosaur, dude. He just wrecks stuff. Love it. We're up to wow, it's like a dead even split, 52-48. How many people voted on this? Do you guys vote on these things when I put them up? Oh, damn, almost 300 votes. Ooh, it's closer, 49-51. We got 700 people in here. Hit the vote. Come on, vote in the live chat. You guys can do it. Kelvin Joseph. Think we can move up to 2? I hope not. I don't want to. We got plenty. Sorless says, do you think with trading Cashman, that puts linebacker in play at 10? No, I think we were going to cut Cashman. I think we just got an extra pick this year. I don't think whatever we did with Cashman changes any type of plan. Kyle Ormsby. Okay, here, watch this. Don't let me hear Matt didn't get that money, Ryan. Watch this. I'll Venmo him right now. We'll do it on the spot. He's going to be like, what the heck? He's just going to laugh at me. For your internet. We'll give him a little green love heart. And we're going to say from Kyle Ormsby. How do I spell it right? Ormsby. So see, that's the message. Come on. It's gonna go. Come on. There it goes. For your internet. Hey. Oh, I should have done $1.99. See, I gave the extra cent. Garbage Time Fantasy for your LOL or for your AOL. King Blaze says King Kong needs to learn Thunderclap from the Hulk. Fernando Ryan, I could see a trade at 10 if a quarterback needy team wants to jump up in the draft. My issue with trading down at 10 is I don't think it's as attractive anymore because the Commanders have Wentz. So unless teams believe that they're going to go after a quarterback at 10 or at 11, I don't know if that necessarily makes it an attractive landing spot. Because why not, trade not as high and give up a little bit less? Natra Brown says, are you an Xbox or PlayStation guy? I grew up, I started with PlayStation, and then when Xbox came out with Halo, I wound up getting an Xbox, but I would buy each one each year because there were exclusive games I liked on each one. Now I would say I don't have the new PlayStation. I do have the new Xbox, but that's purely because of my friend group ecosystem. Like I have a lot of friends that play on PC, and I have a lot of friends that play on Xbox, and with Game Pass, you literally just I stacked 3 years of Xbox Live and paid $1 for Game Pass to match my whole thing, and I got 3 years of Game Pass. So I got like 100 games for 3 years, and they rotate games in. Plus, they just bought friggin' World of Warcraft. Xbox is going to dominate as far as the gaming world is concerned. But PlayStation has some great exclusive games. Like I really like Last of Us. I like Uncharted. I like God of War. Those were all fantastic games. So I would say, look, I'm split down the middle. I got a Switch downstairs too. Like I love Nintendo. I'll play. Beck and I'll sit on the couch and I'm playing Mario Kart, and like she's playing Animal Crossing. We got Mario Party, Mario Golf. I love it. V-Man, thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, love Godzilla more because it has a far more profound meaning, being a metaphor for the devastation of the A-bomb. The song Prayer for Peace from the original always makes me cry also his theme is epic. The theme song for Godzilla is absolutely like a historic theme song. Like you hear that song and it's absolutely, or that theme, and you know it's Godzilla. But yeah, look, so when I was taking a film class, growing up, I never really knew that Godzilla was a metaphor for the atomic bomb. But when I got into college and we started, one of the film classes we did was I don't know if it was monster movies or if it was like a science fiction kind of class, but it was basically how how the world or like our culture develops movies based on popular culture. And during that time period, like the 50s, 60s, when a lot of movies were starting to come out, a lot of it had to do with like them. So it's like the really big ants, the radioactive ants. Godzilla was the headliner. There was a lot of that type of movie around that time, and Godzilla just kind of rose to the top as the one to, capture everyone's attention. They actually edited, and I didn't know this till I got to college. They edited Godzilla King of the Monsters to have a American lawyer, and I didn't realize that he was not actually in the legitimate movie. The U.S. just didn't like being shown as the bad guys for dropping the atomic bomb, so they added this American lawyer to try and give it more of an American sort of feel to it, as opposed to having like the sadness. But yeah, look, I really, really like Godzilla. I think it's one of the cooler types of genre movie in general. I love Pacific Rim too. Like Pacific Rim has nothing to do with Godzilla, but it's like, that same wheelhouse of a movie. Disregard Papa. Thank you for the super chat. He says, opinion on new tight end and thoughts on now needing a defensive tackle. Yeah, I do think that defensive tackle could be a first round target, or a top 2 round target for sure. I think it has entered the conversation. It wasn't exactly where I was hoping we'd go, because it's not the flashy position that I really would like to see us address. Not to mention you have John Franklin Myers and Quinton Williams. Like, I don't know if I want to invest a premium asset in like what I would perceive as a legitimate strength of our team. I would say I'm still on board with edge rusher, wide receiver, tight end at some point, safety, linebacker. I don't know. You could go a bunch of different routes, and I'm not really upset with any number of them. But my opinion on the new tight end, I think he's going to play the halfback, fullback, tight end role that we had in Nunwa in, kind of like Juszczyk out in San Francisco. Peter goes, are you serious? We're talking about Godzilla and monster movies when you should be talking about New York Jets. We talked about the New York Jets for like an hour. And then someone brought up King Kong versus Godzilla, and I had a nerdgasm. Oh, see, look, I'm screwing up my words again. Bro, why are you saying Mario like that? How would you pronounce Mario? Mario? M-A-R? M-A? Mario. Mario? I don't know. It's like potato. Leave me alone. El Polo. Pollo Loco. Do you think Julio Jones would be a good pickup, or do you think he's washed up? I don't necessarily think he's washed up, but I don't want him. Mr. Terrible. Wow, Conklin way overpaid. That guy is garbage. We gave him $7 million a year. How's that like overpaid? Get out of here. Lame Cactus Pacific Rim is my favorite movie of all time. I love you for mentioning it. It was really, really, really good. The second one was awful, though. I actually turned it off. There it is. See, that's the lawyer. I wouldn't have got that name. Jamesy says, JD is shopping at Walmart, but is able to shop at Saks when he needs to or wants to. We have the money. Big Green. It's a me, Mario. There you go. Mario 64, best game ever, next to Mario 3. It depends. Like, what I like Kart more. I think Mario Kart is better than the other Mario games personally, because you like anyone can pick it up and play it, and it's multiple things you can do. I love shooting turtle shells. Thoughts on Breaking Bad, my personal favorite TV show. That's probably my favorite. It was Game of Thrones until the last season, and then it kind of fell apart on me. Scott Osborne says, I'm a Bears fan. Bears are in rebuild mode. It seems and trying to get draft capital. How interested do you think the Jets would be in trading for Robert Quinn or Eddie Jackson? Robert Quinn would be interesting, but didn't he just get a big deal? Now I got to look at this. Because he got a bunch of sacks this year, too. Let's see. Oh, so his deal's not too bad. If traded, his deal is $13 million, $14 million, $13 million. The next 3 years, he'd be 32, 33, 34. And this past year, he had 11. So he had 18.5 sacks. Holy smokes! I didn't realize he had that many. I'd go after him. What would you want for him, Scott? Let me know in the chat what you think he would go for. Stamina Jones says Julio Jones has something to prove though because of the way Tennessee basically discarded him after 1 year. If they could get him on a 1 year cheap deal, I would take a flyer on him. Don't you think he'd want to try and I guess maybe he goes to the Colts. Colts need a receiver, and then he could smite the Titans by going to a better team. They just need to figure out what the quarterback situation is going to look like. Stamina Jones. Best video game, GoldenEye, 4-player mode with Golden Gun. And then you have Odd Job as the little guy. I loved GoldenEye. I think they just got the rights to remake it, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. I could always be wrong. I say that that's my disclaimer. It's the little fine print at the end of any statement I make. 1189 Paris says the Jets aren't the laughing stocks in the league anymore. Better to like the Jets than the Lions, Jaguars, Texans, and even the Giants of today. I don't know. The Giants have had 2 Super Bowls in the last 12 to 14 years. And they've had 4 in the last 35 years. I would say maybe not. But Giants right now, sure. I do think the Lions, Jaguars, and Texans have been kind of a shit show. SDA Jets says, did we talk about Perion Winfrey? We have not. I don't know where he goes. Where do we think his value lies? Let's see what Tankathon has him at. Big board. Let's see. D-line. They have him at 46. So I guess you'd have to take him at the second round. Tony drops in with a super chat. Thank you, Tony. He says, any news from Miles Jack or Clowney? Miles Jack signed 2 years, $16 million with the Steelers. Clowney, I don't think has signed. I don't want Clowney, though. I would be upset with Clowney. Too many penalties. Zebra, I would love to. I've reached out, have not gotten a response. Jet the Best, do you think Ozark is a top 3 Netflix show right now? Yes. Look, I don't watch all shows, but I do watch Ozark, and I did really, really like it. William says, so far JD is probably going to be the GOAT of GMs, at least for us. I really, really like what Joe Douglas has done over the last few years. Specifically the last 2. Jonathan says, Jets still looking at McBride in the draft. They might. Look, I don't think either of these tight ends would prevent you from still taking your tight end. I think there is a real shot that Uzma is here for 2 years and, Conklin's here for... I think Conklin, as weird as this sounds, I think Conklin might have a better chance of sticking longer than Uzma just because... Or Uzma, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Purely because I think he's going to fill a role that we were trying to fill with... Tommy Tremble and Juszczyk, that fullback, halfback, tight end role that is so important. I think there's a shot that he winds up lasting a little longer. But McBride, I think it just prevents teams from thinking we may go McBride, which is a good move regardless. Nick asks, who is your favorite underrated Jet? Put it this way. I think after all the comments that Barrios has made and just like the way I watched him fight this year, I said I wasn't going to buy a new Jet jersey for a while until someone signed a second contract. But this is Barrios' second contract, and I really, really like Braxton Berrios. Like he's someone that I want on this team for a long time. And even if he's not like a featured player in, a number 1 or number 2, I think he's just a fun player to have. He wants to see this team do well. He's got Zach Wilson and like everyone's in his corner. Barrios is my guy. Now, if I had to pick someone Barrios is clearly like a sung hero. Like everyone likes Barrios. An unsung hero for me. I don't know. I guess I look at so much tape from the Jets and all the players that it's hard for me to say a player is unsung. I'll go maybe outside the box here. I'll go Tevin Coleman. I really liked what we got out of Tevin Coleman this past year, and I thought it was smart bringing him back. It wasn't a crazy contract. It wasn't anything, earth-shattering, but I thought it was really good. I thought he was a nice breath of fresh air when Carter came out. Green Bean! What's up, dude? He says, is Peaky Blinders back on? I watched one episode of Peaky Blinders. Really good, but I watched it with Becca, and Becca couldn't understand the accents in it. And it was harder it was hard to understand the accents when we first got into it. But then when I watch stuff, I'm someone that'll like pop on subtitles or closed captioning on like everything, especially at night when Becca's sleeping. If I'm not throwing headphones in, I'll lower the volume a little bit and I'll just read, because I wind up catching things that I wouldn't have caught verbally. I don't know if you guys do that, but it's just something that I've kind of picked up on. Matthew says, are the Jets taking corner in the first now? I think they don't have to at all. They've definitely set themselves up to where they can let the board fall to them. So if they like Sauce at 10 more than 4, then yeah, you can wait till 10. And if he's not there, no big deal. If he is there, pull the trigger and take him. But I don't think you necessarily have to. Justin Crazy, what's up, dude? I feel like I haven't talked to you in almost a year. I don't know if that's right, but I feel like it was around this time we had that crazy night with Matt and Greenbean. Who is the most overrated Jets? Most overrated. I don't know. If I had to pick an overrated Jet, I mean, you'd have to go with someone that people perceive as good that maybe hasn't played as great. And I don't know who that would be. Maybe Hall? That might be the one that's like interesting, where I think a lot of people were thinking corner. And now it seems like Hall and Eccles are going to be battling for cornerback 2. And in my mind, I kind of thought that Hall was number 2, like a lock to be number 2. So maybe he's overrated. I wouldn't have thought that initially, but I think that's probably it. What else are you guys talking about in here? Ooh, Kevin Chada says, anybody see Georgia Pro Day today? I did not. Did anything happen today? I got to talk to one of my buddies. Goes to a bunch of the pro days, so I'll have to take a look and see what he's at. Let's see. Daddy Green Bean, Santa Green Bean. Brian Jew says, Mims is done. Poor attitude. Trade his arse. Hopefully, we can get a 3rd or 4th rounder. I would be stunned if we got that much for him. If we did, that'd be cool. But yeah, I do think he's probably done. I shouldn't say he's probably done. I think we hold on to him through camp, and if he doesn't prove himself, he will be done. But I think we hold on to him. Kyle says, any more moves coming? I hope Arden Key. I would like to get an edge rusher in free agency, but maybe Bradley Ane is the guy. Like maybe that's our free agent acquisition at edge rusher, to give us a little bit of competition with Bryce Huff and in the rotation. I know Green Bean's eyeing him. Green Bean will tell you. He was excited about this. But I don't know. Arden Key is the guy I would kind of keep an eye on just because of the 49ers connection, and he's still young. Former first or second round pick, I think. Or did we determine third? It might have been third round pick. But a lot of people liked him. Matthew says, sign Tyrann Mathieu, and throw him at corner. I wouldn't do that. Jin Pak says, Mosley overrated? No, I don't think so. I think most people understand that his contract is the contract we needed to give him to get him here. So he's overpaid, and I don't think I would say overrated. I think I would say almost underrated. Like, I think he hid some of the issues in our secondary, and because we did that, it kind of hurt our run defense. I don't really have a whole lot of science to back that statement up, but it wouldn't shock me if we see him play a lot better with better secondary help behind him. You guys can let me know if you think that. Jet the best. I'm heading out for the night. Stream tomorrow. If the Jets sign some people, look, Becca's going to Seattle for a little bit. I'll tell her to, throw an egg at Jamal. so I'll come home. Maybe we'll do a stream tomorrow. If the Jets do something, I'll hop on for a little bit. I love this goat bean. Stevie Steve says I'd be stunned if we got a bag of balls for Mims. I got a bag of balls for you right here. I'm not giving you them for Mims. Jets Reaper says, hey, Ryan, what do you think about signing Julio Jones as a big wide receiver on the outside with Moore in the slot and Davis on the other side? I really think they want to keep Moore on the outside. I don't think he has any intention of going to the slot. I think he can operate from the slot, but I think having him on the outside is almost like a Tyreek Hill type of maneuver. But no, I don't want Julio Jones. Do not want him. Mike Cause, Jets all the time, says McBride is the talent of the class. There's a lot of really, really good tight ends. I don't necessarily have to hitch my wagon to McBride. Green Bean says, I hate the hate for Mims confuses me. Sure, he had a rough year, but why the hell should we dump a young guy who would be a top 3 receiver in this draft? Get the hell out of here. Top 3 receiver? I get Green Bean, you get me wound up. I don't think this receiver class is bad, like, at all. Like, it irks me when people say that. I don't think it's not top heavy. I understand that. But second round wide receiver, I think is every bit as good as Mims, for sure, in the second round. No questions, in my mind. Zach Wilson. Ryan, would you never talk to Green Bean again if it meant the Jets would win the next 4 Super Bowls? Oh, I would 100%. I would never talk to Green Bean ever again if it meant the Jets could win the next 4 Super Bowls. You know why? Because I would only text him and use sign language. I'm not giving up on my buddy Green Bean. No way. Could never do that. Duncan says, our cap money is likely getting tight. Think we are done with big names now in free agency unless we do a big cut. We haven't cut anyone yet, and there's like $20 million we can kind of free up to do that. I don't know what our contracts were structured like, because generally speaking, you have a smaller cap hit in the first year, a slightly bigger one, and then it gets bigger as your final years go on. So we may have more money than the average annual salary might imply. Like Barrios this year, I think is only a $2 million cap hit, even though he's 2 years, $12 million. Similarly, I think, was it? Oh no, I think it was Barrios was the one I was looking at before too. Look at Green Bean. Look at him go. He understands. He goes, Ryan is such a good dude, ain't he? So is Green Bean. Yoshi says, we cut Ryan Griffin, just so you know. It doesn't surprise me. I'm sure we will. If we did, Good. It's, it was bound to happen. Ryan King! Strong name. Strong name. I like it. Thanks for the super chat. Seriously, actually, Ryan means little king, which I'm sure you know. Baby name. So Ryan, or like Little King is kind of what your name is. Would you trade our 2 number 1s and a number 3 draft pick for Adams from Green Bay as long as he's willing to negotiate a long-term deal? No, I would not. I do like Devontae Adams a lot, but I'm not trading 2 first-round picks when we might have the best wide receiver available for us at number 10 or the second best, depending on how you feel about Atlanta taking a wide receiver at number 8. I think there's a ton of value in the second round. I have no real interest in trading that much draft capital for a guy you're going to have to pay like $30 million a year to. I really think Devontae Adams winds up in Vegas with Carr because he has a house in Vegas, and I think he definitely wants to like play with Carr. They've talked about it multiple times. Will drops from the super chat. Thank you, Will. I don't know what your name means because it's not Ryan, but that's okay. Thank you for the super chat. He says, really late on this video, so I won't see this till later, but would you take a swing on Nassib? Nassib is the defensive end from the Raiders that was cut today. Look, if they think he's a fit, I have no problem with it. I have not watched enough of Nassib to know if he's actually scheme fit or not, or if he's worth taking a shot on. Didn't they sign him to a contract? Was it 2 years ago, or was it this? I thought it was this past year. I could be wrong. I would look at it. I would kick the tires on it for sure. Got to do your due diligence. Stevie Steve says, if Salah is a player's coach, if Mims can't play for him, he can't play for anyone. I think there's a shot if either we trade him to Carolina or Carolina just picks him up when we eventually cut him. Whenever that is. I hope that's not the case. Like, I loved Mims coming out. You guys saw the draft stream. I lost my mind with Green Bean Matt and David. We were so happy that we got Mims. But, like, he totally underwhelmed this year. Like, it blew my mind. I defended Mims for, like, weeks into the season. And then I got to, like, probably week 7 or 8, and I was just like, I'm done. Like this guy's just in his own head. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully he can shake out of it. Because, dude, he's, like Green Bean was saying in the chat, 6'3", 4.3 speed. Was able to catch. Like, I don't know what happened. I'm hoping he's just thinking too much, and he's just got to get the report. He didn't have spring training camp. He had the food poisoning. He missed a bunch of time. I don't know. I hope he rebounds. Kevin says, would you trade mid-round picks for players and trade back in the upcoming draft? I would trade for proven players, but actually, you know what? No, I think this year, I was talking to Green Bean and Matt about this. I think there's probably some thought to not trade the picks this year because, unless it's like a proven talent. Like, I think we would have done it for Ridley. We were in on that for sure. We were in on Cooper. Just not as hard as Ridley. So I think we would trade for a proven player if one became available at a position in need. But I think we value all our picks because of the Senior Bowl. Like, I think Joe Douglas might trade down to get more later picks to get guys, later on. The other thought process with this, too, is we're going to get a lot of really good undrafted free agents because those guys that were seniors played with Robert Saleh and Ron Middleton at the Senior Bowl. So I think that's kind of the direction we'll wind up seeing. Would I trade mid-round picks for proven players? Yes, I would. It just depends on who it is. Man, we're talking a lot of Mims right now. Dylan. Who are your predicted free agent signings by us? I've been saying Arden Key all night because that was a 49ers edge rusher. I like him. He's still young. Like, lots of upside. You're probably going to get him relatively cheap too. and it doesn't prevent you from going edge early in this draft. That would be where I'd kind of go with this. I don't really want to look at safety. I don't want to look at corner. I mean, maybe try to get a D tackle. I would have liked to get DJ Jones. I was a little bummed he didn't get him. I don't know. I have no idea where they go. I'm not sure what positions. Like, I was hoping they'd go Miles Jack. I thought he was worth a $10 million contract, and him getting 2 years, $8 million a year from the Steelers kind of proves like maybe what he would have had to take, like what the Jets probably would have had to offer. But I would say this: if they didn't go after Miles Jack, it's because Robert Saleh said, "Hey, no, I don't need to go after Miles Jack. I coached him in Jacksonville. He's just not the guy I wanted." Which is weird because Ulbrich coached him at UCLA, and then LaMichael Pirine is his cousin. So I really thought we had a shot at getting him there. Logan, please answer this. What's the chance we could get DK Metcalf? I would say close to 0. I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Carmelo says, bro, who are you talking about? He's talking about Brian. He says, the guy's a freak of nature. We have him on the cheap. Still would be silly to get rid of him. That's just it. I don't think we're going to get enough for Mims to justify a trade. If he was a throw-in for us to get a receiver, maybe that's an option. Like, I would trade him for DJ Moore. Like, if you gave me the option to give up a second-round pick and Denzel Mims for DJ Moore, so that way Carolina has more ammo to go after Watson. Mims goes to Carolina, so Rule, his former college coach, has him again. That's the best case scenario for me because I think it's something that Rule might consider while also getting the quarterback that they want with the second-round pick. I don't know. Just some thoughts. Man, what time is it? It's 11 o'clock. Oh, okay. We'll talk about Green Beans thing real quick. Mims for Chenault straight up. You doing it? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure Jacksonville does it, but I would absolutely do that. Chenault could be our Deebo Samuel, maybe. We'll see. We shall see. All right. I'm tired. I'm shot. I told Beck, I was like, I'm going to hop on for an hour. 2 hours later. 53% King Kong, 47% Godzilla. All right, boys and girls. I think that's all for me. I got to wake up early. I'm opening shop tomorrow. Not having fun with that. But guys, maybe I'll hop on tomorrow. If the Jets do something, we'll see. It's been a lot of fun. This is Ryan signing off. JETS.